Good morning, wind chasers. Or maybe, welcome back to Counterculture. Whichever one you want this morning.
You have the best of both worlds.
You do have the best of both worlds. This is a very good thing. Listen, I have been thinking long and hard this morning. You have...
That explains a few things.
It smells like bacon out there. That's what happens when I start thinking.
That's not what I was thinking. But anyway, go ahead. Carry
on. I was motivated by you this morning. You were praying and talking, and all kinds of thoughts, all kinds of things were going on. And you never said this phrase, but I was motivated in this thinking. I want to talk a little bit this morning about dust bath Christianity. So when I say dust bath, what comes to mind that is appropriate to say on Counterculture?
Chickens.
Chickens.
Was that the right answer?
Well, no, but that's okay. You like chickens.
I was thinking, because it's the only thing I know that takes a dust bath, really, is chickens, to get rid of the lice and the mites and other nasties.
Gets rid of all that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that analogy. That's not where I was going. White horses take dust baths.
Oh, okay.
They take dust baths to help camouflage them.
Okay.
Right? So do albino animals. It's a natural thing, right? They're white, they stick out, so they take dust baths to dirty everything up. And I thought about that and was thinking about what we do to compromise and what we do to create a lukewarmness within us, right? There are a lot of Christians that are walking around and they have taken dust baths. Right? They know that the whole concept of Christianity is to shine brightly. That we shine brightly for God, draw people to Jesus, and Jesus then changes their lives. That's the whole idea, is to be different, to be captivating in nature so that God can capture people. That's the idea. But we don't like that. We like to blend in. We want to blend in our culture. So being counterculture is this idea of how do we not blend in? How do we not purposefully talk like, act like, be like, right? Think like the culture around us so that we can fit in. Because again, our whole Christianity is God wants us to stick out. He creates moments where we're actually going to stick out, right? I think about that every time I'm in a grocery store and you hear the crash, right, of somebody dropping something on the floor. That is a tailor-made moment to stick out in the store. Like, how are you going to handle that? What's going to happen, right? Do you start immediately yelling at your kids when everybody knows it fell out of your hands, right? Or do you deal with the situation well? So, now that I've laid the groundwork for dust bath Christianity, right? Tell me what you think about the concept, whether I'm right or wrong, and then how do we avoid this whole thing?
Well, we tend to think, many of us tend to think.
That's the problem right there.
Right. Sometimes we don't tend to think that sticking out means I'm going to use the word loud, obnoxious, whatever.
Yep.
Sometimes, you remember the old statement, if you want to get someone's attention, whisper? Sometimes it is not the loudest person, or the biggest voice does not always get the attention.
Yep.
Sometimes, I think that, Bob Benson uses the word winsome. We are to be winsome. And so the idea that welcoming, pleasing, something is not repulsive. Even Jesus said Peter said, I think, when we give our testimony, not to be obnoxious, that sort of thing. But so how do we operate differently, but yet still function, I think, is the question.
Yep.
And I think we have to show a different... I don't think we have to be obnoxious and start talking about all this stuff. But here's what... Well, let me just use this way. So I was going into 7-Eleven one day. This was several years ago, to get some communion juice. And I'm going in, these two young men who looked kind of rough.
Yep.
I was kind of just ready. I mean, these days you kind of walk, you don't know who's going to do what. These guys held the door open for me. Mm. And I thanked them, and they said, sure. And they said, you're welcome. And I said, that was really nice of you to do this. Sure, we enjoyed, we appreciated whatever, doing it, And then I've had other people just walk right in front of me and, whatever. There are times when I run into people that give me hope.
Mm. Yep.
Because they have manners. Mm. They are respectful. They are against the culture, but they're not making a big deal out of it.
No, simplistic, unexpected kindness.
Yes, it's like the person that goes in and just does their job. They don't try and posture themselves.
No.
The difference we will make is when we go in, when we interact with people in a respectful way.
Yeah. Yep.
When we say, I won't claim my rights, but I will, I'll let you have that parking spot. If it makes you feel better, do it. Have it. I don't care. I can walk.
Yep.
I think that's where we stand out in the crowd, not necessarily with a I love Jesus t-shirt or something like that, though that's great if that's what you want to do. But we're salt and light. They should see it anyway in us. We shouldn't have to tell. They should, live our lives in the way that they're asking us.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that the right answer?
That's a perfect answer, right? It's funny because, again, when I was thinking about this, I was thinking about, over the time how I've had some light-colored horses, and they roll more, and they're dirty instantly. You wash them off, they immediately go out and they get dirty. Right? It's just a natural tendency to want to blend in, right? To want to not stick out. We have that as people, right? A lot of us have a natural tendency. I don't want to stick out, but I love what you just said. As Christians, it's not about saying all these crazy big things, right? It's not about walking around with the Jesus t-shirt so everybody, is instantly polarized, right? It's about being, right? Being different and letting people react to my difference, right? But not purposefully trying to blend into a crowd, if that makes sense. And again, we have a lot of Christians that, the last thing they wake up in the morning, the last thing they want to do through the course of the day is tell anybody about Jesus. Mm-hmm. Yet they'll tell you they're a Christian, they want to go to church, but if somebody walked up to them and said, hey, what do you think about Jesus? They would hem and haw and try to duck under cover as quick as possible. Right? Like we want to camouflage our Christianity all the time. Mm-hmm. And when part of being called counterculture is how do we not do that? I love what you just said. What a perfect example. We were talking last night in our Bible
I didn't say
study.
I do that, by the way.
No, but unexpected kindness is an easy way to be Jesus. You walk in, and sometimes, I don't know about you, but I don't know what the rule is. So maybe you, right here on Counterculture, you could educate me, right? On what the rule is. If you're walking up to a door and you grab the 7-Eleven door and you open it, how many steps behind you does the person have to be for you to stand there and hold the door?
It depends on their age.
Depends on
their age. Sounds like a Seinfeld episode. No, you don't have to do it if they're 8.
That's what there's been a lot of times where I've seen somebody walking
I will wait. Sometimes I've waited if I know someone's coming behind me.
So do I, but then I think this is how complicated life gets. If it's 20 degrees outside,
you're the firstborn.
Right? If it's 20 degrees
out and cold, charge on through.
Do you keep the door open for the person,
So you should have moved faster.
That's right. Like, could you please hurry? I'm in a hurry. I want to hold the door for you, but I'm in a hurry. Hurry. Right? We make things complicated, but sometimes it's taking the extra 22.3 seconds and helping somebody.
Right. And it doesn't mean we let people walk all over us. There are times that we have to say, you know what, I'm not going to let you treat me that way. But we can do it in a different way. We don't have to make a scene. We don't have to drive our car into the building because we didn't get our biscuits, with our order or whatever. Right. We go, hey, I didn't get my bread, and then the soup Nazi says, no soup for you.
That's exactly right.
I think it is about we are Christ, and Jesus tore into people sometimes.
Yeah, and he did. And Ken,
Usually it was his people, though.
There are moments where our Christianity, making a stand, is going to make us that white horse amongst a bunch of black horses. Mm-hmm. Like, we're just going to stick out.
That fish that swims against the...
Exactly, right? There are times it's just going to happen. And then there are times where we don't need to go out of our way to make everybody around. I think of that every time I go to a medieval festival, right? By nature, medieval festivals, pretty ungodly places, right? And I go there with the purpose of, like, I think there's a great opportunity, right? To talk to people. They love talking. Right? They love, like, knowing where you're from, what you do, all of these things. There's great opportunity there. But I don't walk around a medieval festival sticking out, right, with everything that I possibly can, so that people are uncomfortable and people, are made to react to me, right? Again, we have these wonderful pictures of Jesus, the Fabio of his time, right?
Yes.
And yet our Bible tells us it wasn't anything like that.
No.
Right?
He was not anything to be looked at.
He was nothing to be looked at, right? So again, we were talking about this the other day. Like, not every woman who looked at Jesus wanted to marry him. Wished that he was from an outward physical appearance, right?
And he was God's gift to people.
He was definitely God's gift to women, yes. Absolutely.
And to all of us. To all of us.
Amen.
Indeed.
Beautiful place to end counterculture. He was God's gift to all of us. Every one of us. God bless us.
God bless us, everyone.
There you go. I was waiting for you to get there. You got there. All right, we'll see you next time on Chasing the Wind or Counterculture, whichever one you went with.
Chasing the Counterculture.
There we go. Chasing the Counterculture. New show coming your way. I'm done.